The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Wednesday, the 7th day of February, 2024. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. I'm Jamal Hartman. He's Larry Marshall Jr. What's up, Brother Bert?
Good morning. Good morning. Happy to be back.
Yeah. I mean, you make these once-a-week appearances every now and then, and, you know, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think people are saying, he's taken away my opportunity to win a prize. I actually like it. It keeps the cost low.
Well, you know, I'm over for the year, so I'm looking to change that today. I'm just making sure that you don't have a category that you know I'm not really. That's not my best.
Oh, well, I mean, Sherry and Sancho would be proud of you. You know, you're one of them. No,
Okay. All right.
you're one of them.
All right. Well done.
I'm just saying. Happy Wednesday, everybody, or hump day, as you rated R people say it. Suzanne Ingham says good. Happy Wednesday, Jamal and Larry. And we've got Tanya Cheeseman says morning, Jamal and Larry. Farrah Palacio says good morning, good morning. Oh, that sounds like a Palacio thing to say.
Yeah.
You know, we have to get that trademark. We have to get that good morning, good morning. We have to get a t-shirt made so we know just who it's coming from. But greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we welcome Alex DeCouto, the president of Greymane Construction. We're talking about, well, you guessed it, construction today. And I think I'm going to enjoy this conversation very much. And it's not because Manchester United frustrates Mr. DeCouto as much as me. No, it's not that. It's not.
I thought you was a neutral, Jamal. Sorry.
I am these days now. And you know, people talking about, well, they're undefeated so far this year. I'm like, yeah, until I get back involved and emotionally attached, and then, you know, things happen. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the convo today. A daily play. So daily play today is music.
See what I'm saying?
Yes, music.
Conspiracy this year, folks. It's a conspiracy.
Audience, if you get the answer before Larry, or if you get it at all, we'll let you enter the draw at the end of the week. All right. So we'll let you do that. The daily play is going to be music related. So not lyrics, but music related. And while you're showing us love, please don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right, let's jump. Well, you know what? Maya's not here.
Yeah, we're here for it.
A joke?
We're here for it.
You all want to pick me up or what? You want a joke? All right. Let's give them a joke. I don't know if they want a joke, though, bro. I don't know. Do you want a joke, audience?
I think the people's asking for it.
They're asking
what they want.
They want a joke. Okay. Chances are people in the room today will find it funny. We ain't worrying about Maya. All right. All right. Suzanne Ingham says joke. She wants a joke. All right. Here's the joke of the day, folks. All right. What do you get if you cross a dog with a rooster?
A hot dog. Yeah. Go ahead.
What do you get if you cross a dog with a rooster? A cocker poodle do. Get it?
Yeah.
Spaniel, rooster, cock-a-doodle-doo. No, that didn't do it, folks.
Usually, I see things that are funny. No,
that didn't do it. Okay, cock-a-poodle-doo. No, okay. Thank you, Kathy Rogers. You Palacios are some hard people to please, man. My goodness. Suzanne, see, thank you, Suzanne. Thank you. Cock a poodle doo. Like, no?
No.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, I'm
Love.
good, yeah, I'm there.
All right, folks. No joke of the day passed today. Not even my biggest laughing buddy, my boy. We couldn't make it work. So let's get into today's conversation. A very important conversation. So, any pet lovers in the audience? Anyone who loves like pets? Like, do you have pets? I want to tell you a quick story. So, Larry and I have been friends for many years, going way back, and we've done some fun stuff together. You know, he's come to visit me when I was in school, and and I always knew he didn't like dogs, so I just thought, he didn't like dogs. And then his brother Lamont came to run a race one time when I was living in Rhode Island. And my roommate's girlfriend had this dog. And I didn't realize how much the Marshall brothers did not like dogs, right? Like Lamont was like, nah, like whatever. So I said, oh, I thought it was just a burp thing. But Larry, I need you to explain before we get into today's conversation, what's with you guys and dogs?
Well, I don't know. I can only speak for myself, but I know he's not a big fan either. But I've just never taken to, I would say, animals. It's not just dogs, but most people have dogs. I am not a dog person. The best dog is the one that stays away from me. Whenever a dog's around, I have my, I may not stare at it or whatever, but I always know where it is. A few that's friendly or something, they can come around. But again, I would be okay if a dog never came to me for the rest of my life.
You like my family's dog, though, Bella, right?
Again, if Bella never came around me, I would be like, "Oh my dear, I'm distraught. Where's Bella?" No, I'm good. I don't need the dogs.
Okay. Well,
but I want my son to not be like me.
He ain't like you, right? He's okay with dogs, right?
I don't know. It's the jury's still out. I think I need to take him around some responsible dog people.
Okay.
So he can, get a bit more comfortable because, he never can earn one while living with me.
Okay.
But,
Says go up, I can't get him a dog. All right, cool. Manuela John says, I love other people's pets. Suzanne Ingham says, love dogs. All right, so today's question, if you've been paying attention in the news, the Royal Gazette had a story yesterday, dog attacks triple in 2 years. And someone actually told me 2 weeks ago, hey, you guys really need to have a conversation about this. According to the Royal Gazette, the number of threats and attacks by animals, primarily dogs, has increased dramatically in recent years, according to government statistics. Data release dovetail with anecdotal evidence of attacks on humans and pets, including the New Year's Day pit bull incident in Southampton and the recent biting incident in Southlands. I don't have stats, but my gut feeling is there definitely seems to be more incidents of dogs wandering and been seen wandering around, said Andrew Medeiros, owner of Ettrick Animal Hospital in Warwick. We have had, I would say, a few more bite cases with animals coming in with dog wounds or dog bite wounds. Again, probably over the last year, we've seen more of that. The Ministry of Home Affairs reports 94 incidents of chasing and threatening behavior by dogs in 2023, compared with, get this, only 32 in 2021. So I'm going to stop there. And the question of the morning is going to be very simple, is what are your thoughts on the rise in dog attacks in Bermuda? But the first question, we always put this here. Should certain dog breeds be banned in Bermuda? Do you believe that certain dog breeds should be banned in Bermuda? Yes or no? Just a simple yes or no. Do you believe certain dog breeds should be banned in Bermuda? Yes or no? You're thinking about that one, Larry?
Of course, most people go, oh, well, he don't like dogs, so he's going to say no. So he tries to be biased. But I think as a result of, because what this article didn't say, but previous articles have stated, because I think this is the third or fourth dog-related story of the year, is since the change in the act in 2017 or 18, I believe, the increase has started. So they allowed they eased restrictions back then, and since those restrictions have been eased, we've seen an increase in attacks. So I think the proof is in the pudding, and it probably needs to happen where certain breeds are banned.
Mm. Well, here's where I am on it. I've never believed in banning dog breeds. Like I remember, I never had a pit bull, but I always liked them. My idea of a dog growing up where I grew up and how I grew up was a dog should be able to protect its family and its home, right? Even if it's just a bark, and small dogs can do that. But I think that I would agree with majority of the audience who's responded so far. Should certain dogs be banned in Bermuda? Suzanne Ingham says no. Jackie Eve says no. Monica Dunstan says no. Shikarina says no. Farah Palacio says no. Manuela John says no. Marcia Robin Patrice Bradshaw says no. Tanya Cheeseman says no. Nicole Hassel says no. I would tend to say no simply because I believe in responsible ownership, right? And I know that when they relaxed the laws for people to own certain breeds, they had to abide by certain things, right? Like you had to prove that you had a yard or a kennel or the like. Personally, I believe that dogs belong inside. I didn't grow up thinking that, but you know, growing up where I grew up, dogs were on a chain outside, and you know, as you grow up, you just think, oh, things just it's very different. But that said, I do think that there should be a level of training for people to own certain dog breeds. Every dog breed is different. Some dogs, like a German Shepherd and a Yorkie, might be easier to train versus a terrier like a pit bull or a Staffordshire or American Staff or something like that. So I think that if you are applying for a certain dog breed, you should have to have a certain level of training that should be on offer to people who would like to own them. So that's my perspective on should dog breeds be banned in Bermuda. Now, what are my thoughts on the rise in dog attacks in Bermuda? I read a very sad story. I don't know who else read it, but she's an educator and a comedian, and she shared publicly on Facebook that she had put her dog down 2 weeks ago. It was a pit bull, but she said it was just too aggressive. Now, she spoke of how lovely the dog was. She didn't say it if it had been in any incident. All she said was that it was aggressive. That, unfortunately, I feel for anyone who loves their dog and their dog loves them and they have to put it down. But that accountability by Gina Davis, I think her name is,
Yeah.
that accountability is probably not, it's not just missing in our community when it comes to dogs, it's missing in our community overall.
Yeah. I definitely take all your points, and again, I am no expert in the field because, like I said, I'm just not really an animal person. But I kind of liken the argument because, of course, it's not the dog or it's not the breed, it's the owner. I get that, and I think in one of the articles they estimated that there are some 2,000 illegal pit bulls in Bermuda, which is like, well, oh, they got that bad. I think illegal ownership will always be an issue, and they need to find a way to deal with it. I think that's a topic for another show. Um, but it kind of reminds you of the gun issue in the US. You know what I mean? It's not the owner, guns don't kill, people kill. So I think something has to be done. I can take all the points and just gather the information and be okay with. I think you raised some excellent points, and I do know that this year they said they will make an amendment to the act. What that looks like, we don't know. Unfortunately, I do think it's a bit of politics involved in it also, which at the end of the day, I think the responsible dog owners just want to have their thing, and I get it. I'm friends with quite a few of like pit bull owners and the American bulldogs. Like, so again, I get it. People love them and they like, but I think we just have to find a way where the dog owners, the responsible dog owners, are able to enjoy their pets, and then the individuals like me, I shouldn't be going running through the tracks and have to fend off a dog, if you get what I'm saying, which has happened many times.
He runs on the roads at dark times, folks. So I'm sure he's been chased by a dog or two.
Yeah.
You have him.
And broad daylight.
And
It's just it's not, I know where certain dogs are, and I look for them, I listen for them, and some come to fences, sometimes they get around fences.
So what are your thoughts, audience? What are your thoughts on the rise in dog attacks? Does it take more legislation, or does it take enforcing, some enforcement that, people should have to have more training? Like Farah Palacio says, it's not the animals, it's the owners, the irresponsible owners. Like, how do we fix this? How do we fix this? I mean, again, the incidents tripled from 2021, tripled.
Yeah.
I go jogging every morning, right? Like every morning I go out, the only thing I worry about is wildlife. Bermuda doesn't really have wildlife, so it's only right that we don't create that space by having irresponsible dog owners.
Yeah.
Teo Dill says, I think the uptick in dog attacks is a lingering pandemic side effect. Things got rough. Folks couldn't afford to keep their pets, let them go, and people get hurt. Just a theory, can't prove it one way or the other. Interesting. He said, okay, said, more potential violence the dog can do, the more stringent training required to get it licensed. Yeah, I would say, depending on breed, we should consider education. I think it depends on breed. I think, again, some dogs are easier to train. Look, I've never owned a dog as an adult, right? Never. But I think most people who, like, I go on AKA, the American Kennel Association, and I read about dogs a lot because I always wanted a dog that I don't have to do. I don't have to walk it. Hopefully it learns how to flush the toilet on its own, where I don't have to pick up after. Like, that's the kind of dog I was looking for, right? But in saying that, I read a lot about dogs, so I know about different breeds. Our people, and they tell you on that website, this is the kind of dog for you if you have the time to walk it and do this and that, so on. Are we doing enough education about making sure that we align with this dog and its personality and the expectations to keep it up? Or are we doing it because we always wanted this breed and it looks good? It's like the thing where everyone was getting a French bulldog, right? Like, is this necessarily a dog that would suit your personality or lifestyle?
Yeah.
This big dog that's going to protect you, are you even suited to be able to control it?
Yeah. I think it's a bit more than excuse me. It's a bit more than just saying, hey, change the legislation and ban them. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, we still have that issue of illegal dogs in Bermuda. But I will say, and I think Farah, what she mentioned is not the owners or anything, and I keep saying that. But if worst case scenario comes and it lands at my doorstep, I'm gonna be mad at owner, dog, whoever. Like, I don't want to hurt. And again, making a comparison with the guns, if a child gets taken out by a gun, people ain't talking about they go straight to the the NRA or those groups and stuff like that. So it's a bit more, and I get both sides. I just really think that the powers that be have to really sit down and hash this one out. And again, as we say, so many things, take the politics out of it. I think it was a popular decision amongst a voting base, and that's probably why certain things got through. But we do have responsible dog ownership, and I recognize that it's a significant
Was
piece
that a
of
dog you just heard bark when you're in?
Pardon me?
Did I just hear a dog bark?
Oh yeah, I've got tons of them in my neighborhood. I know where they are. I know where all of them are.
I was like, I thought I just heard a dog bark in his background. Hey, the dog hears you talking about it.
Oh, but don't talk about dog barks and keeping me up at night. That's a different topic.
That's you again?
No, that's not me.
I don't know what's happening, folks. All right, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the rise in dog attacks, folks? Monica Dunstan, she says, we need more education. I concur. We need more education. Renee Simmons says, yes, certain breeds are just not tameable. I had a Rottweiler, and they're protective of children and environment. Pit bulls are innately aggressive. They will always try to take control of weakness. What is the yes to? So you think certain dogs should be banned, Renee Simmons? Is that what you're saying? Farah Palacio said there does need to be more education versus aesthetic. Agreed. And Manuela John says a dog may be friendly with some people and aggressive with others. It may be an instinct. I don't know. Well,
it's a difficult one. And as someone who doesn't like dogs, I don't want my son to be like me. I want him to be able to go in and enjoy an environment without thinking about where's the dog to? Does it have it? Is it on my left side? Is it on my right side? This is all happens in my brain every time I'm around a dog. And people don't get it. Oh, it's not gonna do nothing. I don't care if it's not gonna do nothing. Keep it away from me.
Larry, when someone says to me, "Oh, his only playing," or don't tell me that this dog's only playing and he don't
out of my space.
Don't do that with me. Seriously. We've got Daily Hour News Break. Charles says every morning, Jamal. Well, Charles, I was jogging every morning. You can track my runs, but Florida decided it wanted to be a part of the Arctic. And so I'm not gonna lie, I weren't gonna go jogging this morning, but talking to my friend, and she says, "You better David Goggins and get out there." And so I went. But this 52, 53 degrees, I'm not made to run in that. I don't care what Coach Larry says, and I'm not arguing with him. All right?
50 is lovely.
Yeah, whatever. Well, I'm got 3 tracksuits in Florida, and I only have one clean one for tomorrow. Anyway, real quickly before we bring Teo in, it's a misconception that the pit bull is an aggressive breed. It's literally an American pit bull terrier's DNA to be human friendly. How else would an owner pull a dog out of a pit back in the day? And Renee Simmons says, yes, certain breeds should be banned. I came in late. Okay. That's what I asked him, Charles. He says, even with Bella, Larry, harmless. Him and Bella, I thought Bella's my family's dog, folks, but Bella likes Larry and Mason.
Yeah, okay.
All right, I'm gonna let Bella know. Teo likes Bella. Teo and Bella made a great connection, like me. And you know, Teo, she is trying to follow Teo home. But anyway,
I can be in the same environment and Bella as Bella. I'll give you that. But again, I'm still not. If Bella wasn't there, I wouldn't be like, well, where's Bella? No.
Wow, Bella, Larry's. I'll talk to you about Larry when I come to Bermuda. Anyway, folks, we've got a great conversation coming up with Alex DeCouto about the state of Bermuda's construction industry. Do not miss out. Really, really good conversation. And get your questions and comments ready. I know you will have a lot, but we've got Teodoro coming out first with the Daily Hour News Break, and wonder if he has any more to add. Well, he looks like he's scared of dogs too, actually.
Morning, fam. Good to see you. What's up, Larry? What's up, Jay? What's up, audience?
If we could see your face, not half of it, that would be great. But yeah,
really?
Hey, Tay.
Hey,
tell me, are you scared of dogs?
No. Well, no. I am respectful of dogs.
You tolerate them?
No, there are some that I genuinely love. Like I had dogs growing up as a kid, you know, like the literal pawn dogs, like swimming around in the pond. You pick them up, take them home. You know, they'll live for 30 years. Never much trouble, like that kind of thing. However, I have been around some of the gigantic, dogs that can be classified as a lethal weapon, and despite everything that their owners say about how safe they are, how trustworthy they will always be, I'm always at a little bit of a distance, because a dog is not a person. Mm-hmm. Like a dog is not a rational actor.
Yeah.
If it gets triggered, and I got 2 kids, no. I'm just not having it. It'd be the same thing as if I went to people's houses in the States and they got like a pistol in their gun safe or whatever. I'm not a gun guy, but yeah, it's all right. But if I walk into somebody's crib and they got like 14 ARs like on the wall with a whole bunch of ammo strewn around, no matter what you say about your gun safety regimen, I'm not with it, because it just feels inherently irresponsible when you have something that can cause that much damage, being that casual about it. You know what I'm saying?
You guys just don't trust. That's what it is. You have trust issues.
This guy, you don't trust them. If dogs you don't know, you don't trust.
Yeah.
No, but I'm not saying there's a problem, because I'm dealing with my trust issues. I know I haven't. I'm telling you, you're in my same club. We have trust issues. And this is why I said to someone, we got to move on. We got the news break. But this is why I said to someone, I would never swim with dolphins. They're like, why? I said, because I would never swim with them. You always like, oh, no, they're friendly. They're thinking it could swim off, say, that's the one.
So real quick, it's crazy because I wouldn't get in the shark cage. That makes no sense.
Wow.
Folks.
You would get in a shark cage?
I want to. I don't know.
Larry, you got to get therapy, man. You need to work. There's another way to work through that, bro.
My therapist might be able to help you out on that. So I'm gonna give you her information after this. Here, tell you what you got to
do, but deep down, I want to.
Okay. Well, in a completely abrupt segue, in today's news, the biggest story we got as of this Friday, Larry Mussenden is going to be Bermuda's new Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Governor Lauji confirmed Mr. Mussenden in the position, emphasizing his 27 years of public and private sector experience as being evidence for his suitability and aptitude for the job. As you'll recall, Mr. Mussenden was one of Bermuda's leading defense lawyers in the early 2000s before being appointed as Attorney General and Minister of Justice in 2004, followed by serving as DPP from 2007 to 2016, and his most recent appointment as puisne judge in 2020. Now, it might be tough to get a cab tomorrow due to the planned protests from the Bermuda Taxi Owners and Operators Association set to be held at TCD. Now, the inciting incident for the protest is the long-standing dispute between the BTOA and the government over, among other issues, a long-awaited rate increase that's currently set to kick in by April 1st. Minister of Transport Wayne Furbert shared that the protest is disappointing news considering the ongoing discussions with the BTOA to harmonize and modernize the industry to increase lift capacity, reduce the age of children to count them as a passenger, and the desired rate increases. Now, the minister himself referenced the January 30th email saying that their service as middleman between the state and the taxi industry is, quote, ineffective and causing great animosity among the BTOA members who feel that they are not working hard enough for them. Now, Minister Furbert's most recent press conference on this subject is from last October, where he emphasized that the number of taxis that are out of service is likely smaller than the community believes.
What an individual mentioned was 200 taxis off the road, if I recall. That's not true. There's not 200 taxis off the road. It was, at that time, it was roughly about 54 off the road, and many of them had to be going through what they call probate. Individuals have passed, and the probate, or they're off the road. But we are looking at to find a way to see how we can have taxi drivers drive something else while their taxi is off the road. That's something I've taken on board.
Now, making it easier to do business in Bermuda is an essential component of improving our economy. This from new OBA leader Jarian Richardson following the party's first of 3 town hall meetings in St. George's, where he shared one of their prescriptive policy ideas for the island's economy with the good folks at Burr News.
More than one solution to this problem. So it's just as much making sure the government doesn't compete with private sector. It's as much making sure that it's not hard to do business in Bermuda. So for example, right now, if you want to get a truck to do catering on a boat or anything like that, or want to get a liquor license on a boat, all of these things are incredibly difficult. So why is someone going to sink $100,000, $200,000 into a business that employs 3 Bermudians if he's got to spend half of that for the lawyers and accountants?
Folks that are interested in understanding the root causes of global conflict have an opportunity to further that interest next week. BUEI is offering a free screening of the Israelism documentary on February 11th. The feature-length film explores how Jewish attitudes towards Israel are changing dramatically, with massive consequences for the region and for Judaism as a faith itself. Here's a clip from the trailer so you can get a sense of what the movie will cover.
The first time I've been to the United States, Jewish Americans will tell me things like, we like you, but we don't like Palestinians. Even though I'm the only Palestinian they know. But then you come to realize that they know nothing about Palestine and Palestinians, or have no idea about what Palestinians are going through.
When you go there, you see what non-democracy looks like up close.
What we've been told is the only way that Jews can be safe is if Palestinians are not safe. The more I learned about that, the more I came to see that as a lie.
Wow.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty cool movie. Again, it's free and it's running at BUEI on February 11th. Check them out on their socials to figure out how to get in the building. Now, finally, Donald Trump's legal problems continue to deepen since a federal appeals court ruled that the former president is, in fact, not immune from prosecution in perpetuity simply because he was the president. The unanimous 57-page opinion flatly rejected Trump's arguments that he shouldn't have to go on trial for federal election subversion charges because he was in the Oval Office when he allegedly committed the crime, saying that, quote, "We cannot accept that the office of the presidency places its former occupants above the law for all time thereafter." Now, the Trump campaign responded predictably, part of which is excerpted here.
Is not granted to a president. Every future president who leaves office will be immediately indicted by the opposing party. Without complete immunity, a president of the United States would not be able to properly function. Deranged Jack Smith's prosecution of President Trump for his presidential official acts is unconstitutional under the doctrine of presidential immunity and the separation of powers. Prosecuting a president for official acts violates the Constitution and threatens the bedrock of our republic.
Now, just for the sake of clarity, when a head of state can't be prosecuted, that necessarily means that the head of state is not a president or a premier or a prime minister. It means that they're a monarch, like a king or a queen or something. Mm-hmm. Now, I thought the entire American idea was founded on a fundamental disinterest in being led by royalty. But, you know, I'm not a voter in the Republican primary, so what do I know? Anyway. As far as the weather's concerned, conditions will remain chilly. I know you're feeling it this morning. I, for some reason, decided not to wear the track pants. It's a bad look overall. It's going to be chilly, wet, and windy for the next couple of days. And that complex low we've been telling you about remains in our airspace, dumping a whole bunch of rain, heavy wind, and temperatures that will bottom out in the mid 50s for the next 48 hours or so. So, Jay, we feel your pain at the moment. Everything should start to clear out and warm up as we approach the weekend.
All righty. Thank you for that. Tay, what you got for days of the year, bro?
Well, I actually, if we could just,
what, you got it?
Yeah.
All right. We got to move on, Tay.
Okay. No worries, man. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Or cool. Friday. Sorry. Yeah.
Go ahead there.
All right, today is Independence Day for Grenada. So happy Independence Day to them. Today you celebrate the day in 1974 where they gained independence from the United Kingdom.
Oh, something Bermuda would not have experienced. So congratulations and happy Independence Day.
They might kick us out before we fight for it, right?
Yeah, for real. Happy Independence Day. Anybody got some connects in Grenada? Let them know. We're sending them love and all that good stuff, like we do to our friends in Barbados and in Trinidad and Jamaica and all those islands that done it before us. Anyway, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back after this. Good conversation coming up with Alex DeCouto. Do not go anywhere. Stick with us.
Let's face it, life can be a little wild, but shopping doesn't have to be. I choose Peoples, so that whether it's a prescription that needs to be filled, a toy for my little terror, or a gift for a new addition to the family, we'll see about that. Everything's available in one convenient location. Some call it Peoples, I call it my one-stop shop in the city. Peoples, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Else.
All righty, welcome back to the big show. I'm Jamel Hartman. He's Larry Marshall Jr. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medicals, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. Do not forget, please, to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Before we bring our guest on, Charles H. Jeffers II, he says, I hear there's a heavy police presence at TCD this morning. Don't protest the PLP, I guess. So I guess there's the action that Teo spoke about just now and Maya as it relates to what's happening with the cab drivers. But without further ado, let's bring in our guest for the day. Let's give a warm TDH welcome to Alex DeCouto. He's coming on and we're talking about the construction industry in Bermuda. Welcome, 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 sir. How are you?
Very good, thanks. How you guys doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I mean, it's 2-1 as far as he's an AC Milan fan. Just want to let you know. So, but thanks for coming on. Thanks for doing this. And we know construction has you up early mornings anyway. So it's not like we're saying, okay, you're getting up extra early, but we're inconveniencing you a bit. But just tell us as we get into the conversation. Construction has been a hot topic, like groceries. I know that, as Lindo's is the sponsor of the show, when people, have issues with the rising cost of groceries, Zach Moniz has come on and he's broken down how things work, like, with the pallets, with things happening outside of Bermuda that impact things. So hopefully through this conversation, people will just have a better understanding of, the things that the industry is dealing with in Bermuda in particular. But let's start with just telling the audience a bit about yourself and your role in the construction industry.
Sure. I'll go way back. My grandfather came to Bermuda in the 1920s to plant vegetables. My dad was born here. I grew up in the Crawl Hill area of Hamilton Parish. I went to Mountain Agnes. I went to college in Toronto. Came back here, worked for BCM McAlpine for several years. During that time, I served on the board of the Construction Association of Bermuda, which is basically an industry group, industry association, volunteer board, kind of like the Chamber of Commerce. I was president of that group until about 2007, I think. And it was around about that time I joined Greymane, which was an established company already. Had the opportunity to leverage a buyout of the company in 2009, and have owned Greymane since then. And we've kind of grown the business into a kind of group of companies. I also serve on the board of the Chamber of Commerce and have done a few other sort of government boards and industry volunteer boards and the like. And as you noted, Jamal, I've been asked a few times recently to comment on where the industry is heading, spike in cost of materials, cost of construction generally. And I think that's what led you to reach out to me today.
It did. And folks, I use one of my best friends, LinkedIn, to reach out to Mr. DeCouto.
I use it too. It's a good resource for that.
I keep telling this audience, but no, and thank you for sharing your background, because I think it's important for people to understand who people are as they're sharing information and engaging with them. So much has been said about the rising cost of materials in the construction industry. And, I read an article in the Royal Gazette last year, January 2023, and it spoke about, the 8-inch concrete block, how it increased from $3.40 to $5.11 per block. And then, the 10-inch, $3.78 to $5.68. These are nearly 50% jumps, according to this article. How has the construction industry responded to these rising costs?
Yeah, I'm afraid there's no good news there. Just a little background. So, we've always built quite robustly in Bermuda. And we started off with Bermuda stone, which, was readily available, and it's very robust, thick and hardy. And we use cement to kind of tie it together. And it was about 75 years ago or so, in the 50s, that we started using block technology, which was basically taking concrete and making molds to make blocks. And that's been our primary material for construction, and it makes up the majority of a building structure, concrete. And we used primarily locally sourced aggregate. So that was actual quarries that existed mostly in the East End at Bailey's Bay Cricket Club there, where Island Construction have their quarry, and Bierman's Quarry, which is up in Lollyswell. And they produce pretty solid limestone aggregate for construction, for concrete. We use that to make blocks and concrete slabs, and it meant that we were able to control a good chunk of the cost for a good while. But I think as some industry experts warned for a few years, those quarries were starting to sort of run out, and we have limited space. It's not like we can just decide we're going to take out another hillside as a quarry for limestone. And we started having to import aggregate from other locations. I think at the moment the primary source is in Jamaica somewhere. And that just drastically increased the cost of the primary ingredient in our construction specifications. And the impact was immediate. If the cost of that material goes from, it's not free in the ground. It obviously cost us something to take it out of the ground, but we didn't have to ship it here. And that was immediate and a slap in the face for everyone. And I don't think in the long term that we have much in the way of options in order to bring that cost back down. And the impact on current construction was very surprising, I think, for a lot of projects that were in process. And you got to realize the lifespan of a project from inception as an idea through planning and financing it and then starting and then finishing. The price is set very early, and so things happening in the middle there was quite a shock to contractors mostly. And then they have an opportunity then for new projects to reset pricing, and I think there's been also a shock now for new projects that are considering whether it's home building or commercial projects are suddenly faced with a pretty significant increase in price.
Audience, if you have any questions or comments for Mr. DeCouto, please send them through. We'll get through as many as possible. Go ahead, Larry. Sorry.
All right. So, Alex, you said a lot just now, valuable information, even given a timeline of when the increase probably would have happened. But as we know, building's going to continue and new projects will come up. So what can be done to make construction more affordable in Bermuda?
Yeah, that's where I said I don't feel like there's good news there because, we could downgrade our specifications. So again, we use concrete block and slabs to build our structures, and that our construction is very robust relative to a lot of places in the world which use wood framing to a large degree, sometimes metal framing, exterior EIFS. I feel like I wouldn't want to see us downgrade our specification of buildings. And so, we could explore more quarrying. There's some that argue that, we do have the opportunity to continue to quarry. It's ultimately unsustainable. We could find a quarry somewhere and get another decade or two out of it. But in the long run, we're ultimately getting our aggregate material for concrete from somewhere else. And that's going to be quite expensive. We already import everything else. Every other product that we use in construction is imported at great expense, relatively speaking, to get it here. And so all those factors really, really make an affordability problem. And I think we're going to see, we've always had an affordability problem, in my opinion. But I think it's going to start to get worse and worse as people realize they don't have many options to create affordable housing in particular.
Okay, thank you. Your company, Greymane, just got the contract to renovate KFC, and congrats to that. But where is the industry as far as commercial versus residential construction?
Sure. I think we had quite a flurry of activity in residential construction through COVID, and there's probably people better placed to speak to that than me about why. But there was definitely a flurry of residential activity through COVID. I think the pricing piece has tempered that a little bit. Moving forward as more projects kind of look to get off the ground or price to the market to see what pricing is like. But commercial construction for me is like a true economic indicator. That's like businesses having confidence in their own business to be able to warrant investing, like KFC have done, have confidence in their business, and they want to invest in their facility to continue to deliver good services. And you can apply that to any commercial business that's spending money, and it's a great indicator for me. And it has been quite robust, in my opinion. It's difficult to say definitively. And I'd love for there to be a more timely use of statistics and stuff coming from the marketplace to kind of point to that. But in my anecdotal evidence is that it's looking pretty good right now, and that commercial construction is a good indicator of where our economy is heading, because people make investments kind of with confidence in advance of that, even notwithstanding those recent survey polls that hit the newspaper last week.
Indeed.
Well, we appreciate some sort of good forecast. How do building codes impact or hinder the construction industry?
Well, as I said, I think we have pretty robust building codes and pretty robust specifications to build hardy buildings that stand up to the environment that we have here. And I think obviously that means that we're building expensive buildings, relatively speaking, compared to South Florida, for instance. But I think it's appropriate. I don't think our building codes are inappropriate. However, they could be relaxed and could result in cheaper housing. It's just, I think that's short-sighted, and potentially results in just more people impacted by climate change and weather-related events than that increase homeowners insurance and having to bail people out when their buildings collapse, that kind of stuff.
Alrighty, let's go to the audience. We've got quite a few questions. And audience, keep them coming. I'll get through as many as possible about the topic today. But Ebony Souza's asking, are there any companies that particularly specialize in container and tiny homes? What suggestions do you have for inexpensive but quality builds?
I don't know of anyone that specializes in the container housing option. That might be, relative to the question around building codes and whether or not that they apply. It is an interesting question. I do think we're going to have to get creative when it comes to finding affordable housing options. But I don't have an answer to that question. I do know that it was kind of looked at potentially for a sort of temporary worker housing for some of these bigger sort of hotel projects. And maybe that's a good testing ground to see if something like that works. But our environment is also very harsh. A lot of those containers are simply just metal and rust quite quickly in our environment. So that's kind of one downside to them.
Indeed, salt water. Charles H. Jeffers II, he's asking, with some large projects started or on the horizon, does Bermuda have the resources, people and materials to do these and much smaller projects? How will this impact pricing?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I'm glad he brought that up, because even right now, with our current sort of economic environment, the construction industry imports about 25 to 30% of its labor. Like right now, 25 to 30% of the construction and people in the construction industry are here on work permits, and that's at all levels, management, except laborers, because that's a kind of closed category. So unskilled labor is a closed category, but at all levels, 25 to 30% of our workforce is currently imported labor. And so a larger project that immediately needs, hundreds of additional workers, those workers for me have to come from off island. There's going to be great opportunities for locals to, maybe get a better job or a higher paying job because of that increased level of activity, and be able to move to larger projects. But ultimately, that labor has to come from off island. I don't see, or we're taking them from other industries. Maybe I don't know, but those big projects, and we've seen that in the past, not even the distant past. When we were doing like the airport, and at the same time we were doing the Belco plant, at the same time we were doing the work that did happen at Morgan's Point. Those were three large projects, and they all involved large overseas construction companies that came in and sort of parachuted quite large workforces into our industry, which is a weird dynamic for our industry. I actually have appreciated the last 2 or 3 years where we've not had any of those mega projects, but we've had good economic activity that has been good for local firms. The local firms have done well through that and have been busy without having sort of somebody parachuting in a giant Acon or similar to kind of hoover up large projects, and it creates demand for workforce, and there's a lot of poaching happening. Housing becomes a real challenge, trying to find housing for your expat workforce. All those challenges when it comes to these large projects, impact our industry in a myriad of ways. But that's a good question. But in my opinion, I think that those projects, a large part of the workforces required for those projects needs to come from overseas.
Indeed. Thank you for that. Sean Smith's asking, do Bermuda laws allow for new construction techniques or methods to reduce cost of building?
Short answer is yes. The planning department have I forget what the committee's called. It's like a new materials committee or something like that, where you would propose new construction techniques for them to kind of review and approve. I don't think they've been very busy of late. I think our industry is quite boxed in when it comes to like, this is how we build, and this is the materials we use. The last significant change in construction specifications was the so-called SKB roof, which is basically a synthetic roof, moving from slate to an insulated material product for roofing, which was a great move, and it's definitely 100% better than slate roofs. But that was 40 years ago. That was the last sort of significant change in the style of construction in Bermuda. So I'd be all ears for potential new materials. There has been a few attempts at steel frame residential construction with a sort of coatings, synthetic coatings exterior. But it seems like the market doesn't have a lot of appetite for it. Everybody loves their traditional block and concrete structures in Bermuda.
Alrighty. Shikarina, she's asking, would precast concrete molds be just as expensive to import? Do we already use precast molds?
Morgan's Point actually was a project that was used precast construction, sort of panels and slabs. I think they were fabricated in Barbados, I want to say, and then shipped over. For me, when we did the math on it, it's very expensive. The shipping piece just adds such a significant component of cost, particularly on something bulky and cheap. Trying to ship something in, that then the cost per unit or per cubic yard or per square foot or whatever just skyrockets, doubles in a lot of cases. And that means that historically our locally produced concrete and block has always sort of beaten out precast methods. Now maybe that's changed. I've heard rumors of people, companies now attempting to import block. I've done the math on that too. I think you're probably doing that just for to maintain supply rather than beat cost, just to guarantee that you're going to get the block, because there's been some supply bottlenecks in the local plants. But I don't think that it might be just competitive rather than cheaper to import precast concrete.
Got you. Charles H. Jeffs II, another question. Are there adequate training programs in Bermuda for those who want to get into the construction industry? What would you like to see to enhance training programs? Is construction still a viable option for people as a career?
Yeah, second part of your question. Absolutely. As I mentioned, 25% of our labor is imported at all levels, management, straight down through the trades. So definitely still a viable opportunity there for Bermudians. And we're trying to recruit all the time. We're trying to promote from within. I am frustrated with the training opportunities, and having spent a lot of time with the National Training Board, with the Construction Association, with Bermuda College, attempting to get trades training, more robust opportunities and whatnot. It's a tough slog, and we're not an industry of international businesses. We're local businesses. We're relatively small. It's difficult to find funding for a lot of these programs. And it's difficult, I know, for the college to find the skill sets and even the demand out in the field, because when you're busy, it's hard to make time and think about training, and when you're not busy, it's hard to find training and fund it. But we had several trades that we were hoping to put tradesmen we were hoping to put through courses at the college in woodworking and carpentry. And the college, I think they lost their longtime instructor. He had retired, and they didn't run the program again. And that was just carpentry. I'm sure there's other trades that will have similar sort of stories, but yes, I have some frustration. I do think industry needs to step up as well. Government and the Workforce Development Department have this model of occupational advisory committees that advise government on what does a trade do, and how should they be trained, and they have a sort of model of certification of trades, which we have a few certified trades, which means like you cannot call yourself an electrician out in the industry or to the public unless you are certified by the government as an electrician. And for me, that's a great model to have, and I think we should have it across more trades. But it requires a pretty heavy lift on legislators, on workforce development, and industry to make more trades certified. And for me, it hasn't gotten the attention it needs to.
Interesting. One last question from the audience. We've got Mark Arthur C. Phillips asking, are you still experiencing supply chain issues?
Certainly not to the extent we saw at the height of COVID. I would say on a majority of products, things have caught right back up, and we have good supply on most items. I don't think, I mean, I think we saw a big spike in certain pricing of materials. Some of those have come back down, like wood and metal, generally speaking. But prices have definitely kind of gone up. The baseline pricing of goods have gone up, and I don't see it coming back down. But I don't think we can say that we have supply chain issues at the moment.
All righty. Before you head out, one last question. What advice would you give to someone who is looking to build or renovate right now, as far as cost and expectations?
Yeah, like I said, I don't think there's much good news there. Prices kind of got a spike, and then the aforementioned cost of concrete is really impacting baseline costs. I would say identify contractors, architects that you trust, and let them kind of talk you through your project. You might want to wait and see what happens with interest rates. I think an overlooked component of the cost of construction is the cost of borrowing, which when rates are at 5 or 6%, the impact on you look at the whole life cycle of a project, how much you're actually borrowing to pay for it. When interest rates are at 6% versus 9%, I mean, the impact is absolutely massive, and probably pales against or concrete pales in comparison to the cost of interest expense. So really consider how much you're borrowing and whatnot. But I think the affordability question is a really big issue. I don't think that we can build housing that is affordable to anyone at the median or lower 2 quartiles of earnings. What our current citizens earn, based on the latest statistics. I don't think we can build houses. I think everyone sees that, and I think there's been a real realization from sort of my generation, our generation. I guess we're similar age now. That housing is a pretty owning a home is way more difficult than it was for our parents, or certainly our grandparents. and I don't see how that improves. And I think there's a role to play for government in producing affordable housing and coming up with a new model for how we house most of our people.
Yeah. I appreciate your honesty and transparency just now, because it's like when I say it, it's just this uneducated opinion, but hearing it from someone who, you know, understands this industry, is a professional expert and trusted person, I really appreciate your transparency, not just now, but throughout this conversation. And I want to say this while you're here before you leave, because I usually say it when people leave, is to the audience, conversations like this and guests like Alex are why this show exists. I learned a lot this morning. I'm going to be honest. But there's this new feature that I can press a button while you're speaking and clip what you've done. And I'm going to go back and just re-listen to really make sure that I'm understanding it. And my hope is that, you know, we love to look to government has our attention. But I think you've given us enough information to try to make some educated decisions in terms of how we move forward, whether it's new construction, renovations, or the like. So thank you so much for being responsive on LinkedIn. Thank you so much for accepting the invite. And I think we have a lot more to discuss as it relates to, you mentioned South Florida, how they do things. Me living in South Florida, I get what you're saying. I took my father, who's an electrician, to some new builds one time, and we had a good laugh, and I'll side chat you on that. But I think we have much more to talk about. You know, right now they're talking about, you know, letting buildings go higher now in Bermuda and so on. So I think there's a lot more to discuss. And if you're open, we'd love to have you back sometime. But thank you so much for this conversation. And audience, if you appreciated this conversation with Mr. DeCouto, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like, and make sure you share it with your friends, your family, your colleagues. Let's have these water cooler conversations, because this is not politics. This is facts and information from someone who is actually an expert at what they're talking about. Alex DeCouto, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Great to be on the show.
All right.
Happy to come back too.
All right. Thank you so much. Happy to have you back. All right. Alex DeCouto, folks, do not go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break. And thank you, Rashida Godwin. We appreciate you. She says these are the exact conversations we need to have and discuss. Yeah. And thanks, Daily Hour and Alex. We've got excellent info. Thank you, Suzanne Ingham. An eye-opening conversation. Kathy Rogers, thank you. No, thank you to Alex. He was very open. And folks, what am I always telling you? LinkedIn, LinkedIn, LinkedIn. That's how he and I connected. Going to take one final break, come back to the Daily Play, and then wrap it up. Somebody may get lucky, because Larry may show up as Sherry or Sancha today. You see what I did?
Hi there, welcome to Medical House. We're located at number 6 Bakery Lane. I can't wait to show you all of the great stuff that we carry. Come on inside, let's see. Let's kick it off in the footwear department. When it comes to footwear, we carry functional, comfortable, orthopedic, and waterproof shoes. We have construction shoes, golf shoes, shoes for walking, shoes for boating. We even have shoes for pickleball. We have shoes for everyone. With brands by Skechers, Atrax, Propay, Easy Street, Nursemates, Clogs, Avenger, Cherokee, Cat, Frog Talks, and DeWalt. The list goes on. Take a look at our workwear for construction workers and tradesmen. Durable, stretchable in all the right places, and plenty of options for tools and accessories. Pair with our wide range of tough and comfortable footwear. You can't go wrong. Long days, long shifts, you no longer have to endure comfortable underwear. Designed by nurses, we now offer premium undergarments by Swoop that are unique, fun, comfortable, and functional. The only underwear you'll ever want to wear. Who says high-quality functional products can't be stylish and comfortable at the same time? Speaking of stylish, we also have top-quality running, walking, and workout apparel by Skechers in a variety of sizes for men and women. Cool, breathable, and dry. With our wide selection of Skechers footwear, you'll look great before, during, and after your workout. As you can see, Medical House really is a one-stop shop for everybody. We can't wait to see you.
You'll be surprised at everything we have to offer at our huge new retail and wholesale location on Bakery Lane.
Alrighty, welcome back. Thanks again to Alex DeCouto from Greymane for coming on and having such an important conversation about the state of the construction industry, how it impacts all of us. Thanks again to the BAC group of companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we can have these conversations with you on a regular basis. Don't check that button at the screen. For the entire month of February, get 40% off Cola showroom and inventory items while they last. Don't miss out the BAC showroom. So 9 Mills Creek, Pembroke, go check them out. They've got some great sales going on for the entire month of February. And it is time for the Daily Play. Brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. Larry and audience, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Don't share your censure this, all right? This is very easy, audience. It's music related today. And since we just had the Grammys and everyone's up in arms about them, it's Grammy related. Which music group's 1990 Grammy Award was revoked after lip syncing controversy?
Milli Vanilli. Got me on the board. That's got me on the board for the year, folks.
He didn't censure Chariot. Sancho's coming back next week. She said she's got to make up. She's got to make up for it. Everyone
can't blame it on the rain, right?
Huh?
What idea?
What'd you say?
Yeah, don't blame it on the rain.
Wow. See what he's doing? Hey, look, Larry, Millie, Vanilli, Marshall. Got it. Kathy Rogers says, Millie, Rosalind famous Millie Vanilli. So look, I don't even know what the big deal is about them lip syncing. Everyone does it at the award shows, no?
Yeah, I guess it was such a big thing back in the day. I actually watched the documentary, and it really ended in the sad end where I think one of them took his own life, and like his life just spiraled out of control.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I think they were before their time. I mean, if you look at most award shows now, it is the norm.
Okay, the difference is they never sung though. People are lip singing, but they could still sing the song. They never sung the song.
But
That's what I think it was.
Entertainment.
Yeah, I guess you had to say it though. I don't know.
It's misleading, I guess. I guess it was misleading, and you can't mislead. So anyway, Milli Vanilli it is. Real quickly, Mark Arthur C. Phillips, he says, let's get the subscribers up. We're at 200 away from 2,000 folks. Go over on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Give us some love. Show us some love. Let's wrap up today's conversation. Larry, we spoke about dogs, the rise in dog attacks. And then we had Alex DeCouto on. What's your final thoughts on the discussion and then our daily focus?
Yeah, the dogs is definitely a topic that people have passionate thoughts on either side. I just hope eventually we get to a happy medium and everyone can enjoy the dogs, and on the other side, everyone feels safe. I think at the crux of it for me is people deserve to have safety no matter where they go. Excellent conversation with Mr. DeCouto. Very informative. He broke down and his information and was able to deliver it in a way that I was able to receive it, and I think a good bit of people who felt the same way. Definitely would like to see him back on. And then it was interesting, Jamal. He talked about the opportunity for more locals to get involved, and I thought construction was one of the industries that had that wasn't an issue. So I'm glad to hear him talk about that.
But that's what I mean. Facts. Like I would have thought they didn't need more Bermudians there. I'm with you. So no, a lot was said. But as far as the dogs, I just look. I believe Monica Johnson said it earlier. I think people should have to have specialized license or receive education to own certain dogs. That's where I stand. But I do not believe in banning dog breeds. I'm just totally against that. I don't think that dogs should be banned simply because of the poor owners. I think it should be on the ownership. As far as Mr. DeCouto, I second what you said. I mean, I appreciate every guest, every conversation. I think everyone offers something, which is why they either get invited or we accept the request to come on the show. But these conversations should help move our community forward. They should answer questions. They should educate us, and they should motivate us and inspire us. And I appreciate him being open to having a conversation about the state of the industry. No politics, just honesty and facts. And I hope that the information he shared today can help all of us make better decisions moving forward. Larry, do you have any daily inspiration for us?
I do. And just on topic with the construction industry, it's from an unknown author. The ultimate goal is for sustainable infrastructure not to be seen as an investment opportunity in the future, because all infrastructure will already be sustainable.
Interesting. I like that one. And as we go through a period where our infrastructure in Bermuda seems to be crumbling, my hope is that we actually begin to make more sustainable decisions and understand that nothing lasts forever and we need plans to fix it. Whether it's the airport bridge down there that's been like that for the longest, the swing bridge. Our roads coming. We need to find a better way. Folks, again, please make sure you love, like, and most of all, share this conversation. Ignorance is no excuse when we're doing all we can to have these important conversations in our community. Now it's up to each and every one of us who is a part of these conversations to ensure that our friends, our family, our colleagues, and the people we love, our community, have the same access to this information as you. The way social media works, algorithms will keep this information from people. So it's up to us to make sure that we're sharing it.
Yeah.
If you agree and if you're going to share it, just give us a thumbs up in the comments. Do not forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. He's Larry Marshall Jr. I'm Jamel Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great day. We are is out. Peace.